Hello and welcome to our new YouTube tutorial. In this video we're going to be building a Creative Navbar menu with HTML, CSS and JavaScript. In the last video we built kind of similar navbar but with some different effects, so you can check it out from the link in the description. Alright, let's go ahead and describe the project. We have a button in the center of the page with 3 dots. If I click it, then those dots will transform into X with some smooth transition, and also navbar will display with a couple of navigation items. If I click the X, then the menu will close again with some transition effects, and also we will get back 3 dots instead of X. Okay, so that's it. This project is going to be kind of a little one, but I hope it will be interesting. So let's get started. I have created a new folder on the desktop in which I have 3 different files for HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Let's go ahead and open this folder in VS Code. Actually, the CSS and JavaScript files are empty right now. As for the index.html file, I have prepared the basic HTML document. I have 2 links in the head element, one for font awesome icons and another one for CSS. Also, I have here a script tag for the JavaScript file. You can go ahead and download the starter files from the link in the description. Alright, let's go ahead and run the file in the browser. For that, I'm going to use a package called Live Server. It actually allows us to run the project live in the browser and make updates without refreshing the page each time. So you can install and use it. Finally, let's place editor and browser side by side and start to create HTML markup. I'm going to open a div element which will be the container. Next we need HTML5 nav element. Let's assign to it class name navbar. It will wrap the entire navbar, I mean the button and the navigation items. Next, I'm going to create a button. It will be represented by a div element. Let's assign to it class dots.btn. So we will have 3 dots. Let's create them using div elements. Let's assign to it 2 different classes. The first one is going to be for common styling, dot, and the second one is going to be for the individual styles, dot1. Then duplicate this line of code and change the class names. We need dot2 and dot3. Alright, right now the button is not visible because div elements are empty and we don't have any style. Next, I'm going to create the menu itself. Let's open another div element with class name navMenu. So overall we will have 4 different items. Each of them will be created with the link and font awesome icons. So let's open link element with the class name navMenuLink. Then insert here I element with classes FAS, FA-home. Then duplicate link element 3 times and change the class names. For the second one we need FAB, FA-blogger. The next one is going to be FAS, FA-project-diagram. And for the last one, let's use FAS, FA-address card. Alright, so here we have all 4 icons, and actually with HTML we are done. All the elements are created and prepared. Let's go ahead and open the CSS file and start to write some CSS. First of all, I'm going to create some reset styles. Let's get rid of default margin and padding for every element. In order to select all the elements, we need to use asterisk and then set margin and padding, both of them to 0. Throughout this project, I'm going to use rem as a measurement unit. By default, 1 rem equals to 16 pixels because the font size of the HTML element is equal to 16 pixels. I'm going to convert 1 rem into 10 pixels because I think it will be more comfortable and convenient. So in order to do that, we need to decrease font size of HTML, and we have to make it 62.5%. So as you can see, the icons became smaller. Alright, let's move on and take care of the container. I'm going to expand it to the entire page. So let's go ahead and select it. Set its width as 100%. As for the height, I'm going to make it 100% of the viewport. Therefore, we need here 100 VH. Then change the background color. Make it light gray using EEE. Next, I'm going to center the icons. For that, I'm going to use Flexbox. We need to make development flex container using display flex. Then, in order to center the items horizontally, we have to use justify content center. As for the vertical centering, we need align items center. Alright, that's it about the container. Next, I'm going to take care of the menu itself. So let's go ahead and select Nav menu. First of all, let's define width, make it 46 rem. As for the height, I'm going to set it to 3.5 rem. Then change background color. In this case, I'm going to use color 25AC78. Then I'm going to create some space inside the menu using padding. Let's set it to 2 rem on top and bottom and 3 rem on left and right sides. Also, I'm going to make the menu rounded. For that, we have to use border radius with value 5 rem. And finally, let's create some shadow effect using box shadow, which will have the following values. We need 0, 1 rem, 3 rems. As for the color, I'm going to use RGBA value 37172, 120, and the opacity 0.4. Alright, so the background is ready for the icons. Next, I'm going to customize the icons. So let's select them. We need nav menu link followed by the eye element. Let's increase the font size, make it 4 rem. As for the color, I'm going to make them white. Okay, so right now icons look much better and we have to take care of their positions. We need to define their positions individually, but before that we need to add to them some common styles. So let's select the link element and make its position absolute. I'm going to position icons according to the navbar, and for that we have to make the position of the navbar relative. So let's go ahead and select it and assign to it position relative. After that, I'm going to center items vertically. For that, let's set top position to 50%. And also we need to use transform with translate function. I mean translate y with the value minus 50%. And now we need to define left and right positions for all the items individually. For that, I'm going to use one of the CSS pseudo classes. It's called nth child. Let's select the first item. For that, we have to select link element. Then it should be followed by the nth child pseudo class. It is actually the function, and inside the parentheses we have to specify the number. In this case, we need first item, so we have to pass here 1. Let's make the left position of the first item 4 rem. Then I'm going to duplicate this code 3 times because we have 4 icons. For the second icon, we need left position with the value 13 rems. Then let's define the position for the third item. In this case, we need to use the right property with the value 13 rems. As for the fourth item, we need right position with value 4 rem. Alright, so all the items are positioned. As you can see, we have some space in the center of the menu, and actually it belongs to the button. So let's go ahead and start to work on it. I'm going to select the element which has class name .btn. Then let's go ahead and make it visible. For that, I'm going to set width and height, both of them, to 10 rems. And also change the background color. Make it 25AC78. So the div element is visible, but right now it has messed up the entire layout. So we need to take care of that. I'm going to place it in the center of the menu. So let's define its position as absolute. Then, in order to center it perfectly, I'm going to use the following properties and values. We have to set top and left positions, both of them, to 50%. And also we need to use transform with the translate function. And we have to pass here -50% twice. So as you can see, now it is placed in the center. Next, I'm going to make it rounded. And for that, as you know, we have to use border radius with the value 50%. Also create some shadow effect. Use box shadow with the values 0, 1 rem, 3 rems. As for the color, let's use RGBA with the values 13, 83, 57, and the opacity 0.4. And finally, let's change the type of the cursor, make it pointer. Okay, so the button is prepared. Now I'm going to take care of the dots. Let's go ahead and select them using a common class name, dot, and assign to it width and height. I'm going to set both of them to 1 rem. Also change the background color, make it white. And then make dots rounded using border radius with value 50%. Okay, so as you can see right now, dots ended up outside of the button. We need to take care of their positions. I'm going to center them using flexbox. We need display flex. Then I'm going to use justify content with the value space evenly. Actually, space evenly allows us to create even space between the flex items. And finally, for vertical centering, I'm going to use align items center. Alright, so as you can see, everything is ready to make the navbar work. Again, once I click the button, those dots, first and the third one, should transform into X. As for the second one, it should hide. And also the menu should hide and display on click. So first of all, I'm going to transform dots into X, and then we will make it work using JavaScript. Let's go ahead and select the first dot. It has class dot1. Let's make its width 0.8 rem. As for the height, let's make it 7 rem. And also use border radius with the value 1 rem. After that, I'm going to duplicate this code and I will change the class name. We need here .3. Okay, that's it about the third dot. Next, we need to take care of the second one. As we said, we need to hide the second dot. So let's go ahead and select it and assign to it opacity 0. Alright, now I'm going to make the X using those two lines. For that, I'm going to use rotate and translate functions. First of all, let's go ahead and rotate the lines by 45 degrees. use transform with the rotate function. In case of the first dot, we need to use 45 degrees, but with minus sign. Then let's copy this line of code, paste it for the third dot, and get rid of the minus sign. Okay, so as you can see, the lines are rotated, but we don't have here any X. So we have to use translate function as well in order to fix that problem. Translate function actually moves the element according to the X or Y axis. I mean according to the horizontal and vertical directions. So let's use translate with values 2 rem and again 2 rems. Then copy and paste it for the third line. In case of the third line, we have to make the first value negative. Okay, so right now we have a perfect X, and now it's time to make it work. So I'm going to create a new class in CSS. Then using the toggle method, we will add and remove this class from the dots using JavaScript. So let's use a multi-cursor and add to all 3 dots class called change. Then open JavaScript file and select the button. For that I'm going to use a method called query selector. We have to specify here the class name. It's dots.btn. Then let's attach to it event listener with the click event followed by the arrow function. So we need to add and remove the class change from the container, which is the wrapper of the entire content. So let's go ahead and select it using again query selector method. Let's insert here class name container. Now we need to use class list property, which actually stores all the classes the container has. And finally, we need to use the toggle method, which in general adds class to the element if it doesn't exist and removes it if it exists. Alright, now if I click the icon, then dots will transform into X and vice versa. This transformation happens without any transition, so let's go ahead and add to the dot transition with the values old and 0.3 seconds, which is the duration. Now if I click, we will get a nice smooth transition effect. Okay, the last thing that we have to do is to hide and display the menu itself. For that, first of all, make its width 0. Then I'm going to hide the items. For that, let's use opacity 0 and visibility hidden. Now again, we need to use class change because we want to hide and display the items when we click the button. So let's go ahead and select change with nav menu and set width to 46 rems. And also use transition with value width and with the duration 0.3 seconds. Then select again change with a link. Now we need to make the item visible. For that, we have to set opacity to 1 and visibility to visible. And also use transition with opacity 0.3 seconds. Alright, so we are almost done. The only thing that we have to do is to add some delay when we display the icons. For that we need to use again transition, but with the class change. So we need here all, then the duration 0.3 seconds, and then the amount of delay 0.3 seconds as well. Alright, now everything works perfectly, and actually we are done with this little project. I hope you enjoyed it and learned some new stuff. If you like this video, then please thumbs up, comment below, subscribe to our channel, and click the bell to get notified on coming tutorials. Okay, see you next time.